Hi guys, it's me Ty here, and today I'm going to talk about should you become a mechanic. And the reason I'm making this video is I see it popping up all over YouTube, talking about like Ford and all the other companies there. They have a shortage of mechanics. They have all these open bays or whatever, and nobody's warranty work is getting done. And all the mechanics they're talking about it, they're talking about that that they're paying them flat rate rather than per hour, and they have so much money invested in tools and everything. Well, as somebody with a diesel mechanics degree, felt that I'd be a good one to talk about it too in my experience in the industry. So when I graduated college back in the day with my diesel tech degree, I went to go. I saw all my friends starting the workforce. They were a lot of them were like a year ahead of me, and I went there and I only applied. Well, actually, I only applied at one job there because I visit with the shop owners and everything. They're like, "Yep, you guys are gonna have to supply all of your own tools, which you're looking at, which I had some of my tools, but as newer equipment's coming out, you're gonna need a lot more stuff, and you're constantly breaking tools and all that." And the first thing I asked them, I was like, "So do you guys supply tools for us?" And they're like, "Nope, you guys will have to supply all of your own." I believe they always did supply us gloves and coveralls and uniforms, but we had to buy our own safety glasses, our own earplugs, all of that. And all I was thinking is, man, this is a lot of input costs on my side because at that time, like girls, I would say the two equal careers in life for men are diesel mechanics, and for women are being a nurse. They both pay about the same. They get tons of overtime. You can make good money. Um, and I looked at it and I was like, man, this doesn't make sense. I was like, for how much mechanics get paid per hour, um, you could be working construction with tons of overtime, good pay, especially road construction. You could be working maintenance at um, at all the plants and at the manufacturing facilities and all that. A lot of electronics boys from when I was going to college, they were studying that. They're programming all of the big robots for making cars and everything in the industry. So I was like, man, I can't do this. I was like, maybe if you're going there for experience to work at a Ford dealership, then it would make sense that you're working for low pay just to get all the experience to work there for a few years, and then you break away and you start your own shop because the shop, most of them out there, they're charging 150 to $180 an hour labor rate for you, and then they're only paying you a lot less. I'm talking like, boy, I know a lot of mechanics, they're making, boy, they're $22 an hour. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, especially when all of your paycheck is going back into tools. So I walked away from that. But where I did find out that the good money is with all my buddies is they all walked away too. Fleet maintenance. If you work for fleet maintenance, you're not rushed and all that because you're working on the exact same pickups, the exact same heavy equipment every day. So you know that machine in and out. You know what's as you're doing your inspections, you know that, hey, this brake pad, these brake pads here, they're getting kind of low. I can kind of plan for that and everything. Fleet maintenance, anyone that I've ever worked for, any of the companies, they supply 100% of your tools. They have a toolbox for their mechanics to use, and if you quit, the tools get left there, and the guy that replaces you gets them, or the guy on night shift, he uses those tools. And I'm I realize that a lot of you are going to say, oh, but this is the mechanic shop that I ran into. Yes, many of them are in the workforce where you have to supply all the tools and everything. But guess what? There are shops out there with fleet maintenance where they supply 100% of tools and you supply nothing. It's just like construction. It's just like being a nurse. A nurse, all she supplies is her stethoscope. When I worked construction, all I had to supply was a hammer and my belt or whatever that I kept my nails in, which I didn't even have to have that. All I would have had to have was the hammer. So any of those shop owners that tell you that that's not part of the industry, you have to supply your own tools, they are flat out lying to you. because there are so many places out there. Well, maybe not the majority, but there are a lot of places out there that do that. And like I said, they pay a lot more. What a mechanic makes about $60,000 a year, plus you have to spend all that money on tools. Construction pays, especially if you're doing road construction, over $100,000 a year. If you're a nurse, a lot of the nurses in California, they make way more than that, probably like $150,000 a year. Just talked to a girl on a flight there down to California, and she said that when she finishes college, she's going to be going to work in California because I forgot how much it was. I thought it was, I swear she said $80 an hour. And then you have all the negative Nancy's out there. They're like, "Oh yeah, we know that California is paying $80 an hour for nurses, but you have to have experience. You better have a lot of experience or whatever." Well, that's how a lot of that stuff works. Even in the maintenance industry, you go to a lower paying state or whatever, and you work there and you get your experience for 2 or 3 years, and then you apply for those higher paying states, and you can walk in and make the good money then. So, um, so yeah, that's my take on that. And then I was also gonna say something else about that, but um, but yeah, I do not. I I would never work for a company where you have to supply all your own tools, because even like right now they talk about electronics, or I mean electricians and HVAC technicians, that those guys are all making over $100,000 and they don't have to supply tools. And yeah, they don't. So that they're like, why would you go for a degree in diesel technology when you, in the same 2 years, you guys could just become an electrician or an HVAC technician? Well, that wasn't my reasoning behind it. When I went to college, my job. What I always think about is controlling the bleeding. Um, you can't control how much stuff costs out there of your expenses, but you can control how much money of what is going out. So if I can repair all my own vehicles, do my own home repairs, all that kind of stuff, that's where I'm at. So I can repair all my own vehicles. I don't have to go in a dealership for anything. So that experience of me going to college for 2 years for that was totally worth it. Um, so I've definitely paid for my college over rather than having to buy new vehicles all the time, because the reality is if you can't repair your vehicle, you are caught in that trap of having to buy new vehicles all the time, and financing them, because then they have a warranty. Because if you have to take your vehicle into the mechanic every single time, the shop labor rates have gone so high at 150 to $180 an hour, that that vehicle will nickel and dime you. So if you run older vehicles, at least that you know the technology on, anyways. Like for me, it's the 99 to 2006 Chevy GMT 800s and all of the Honda Fits. I know how to fix everything on those things. So when I moved to Cambodia here, because I went back to college and I got another degree, I got my bachelor's degree, which are required here in Asia. Not necessarily Cambodia. They claim they don't need it, but the job market here is so competitive. They have probably 900 people applying for the same teaching job. Well, when I came here, um, I went in, and my first question when I go to all these job interviews here is, so many of the schools there, I asked them right away. They're After I told them about myself, then they're like, "Do you have any questions for us?" And I was like, "Yes. Do you guys supply the laptop computer for us to use?" And they're like, "Nope. All of you teachers, we expect you guys to buy your whatever $1,200 iPad or MacBook or $600 Windows computer." And and I was like, "Yeah, that doesn't work for me." I was like, "I bought a brand new laptop computer, and within a month of me opening and closing it, because us English teachers, we go from room to room, and like if you go to Vietnam, you're actually going from school to school. You're opening and closing that laptop all the time." And my brand new Dell laptop, I opened and closed it, and within 30 days of opening and closing it, the screen half broke right away, and that laptop, I had to throw it away, buy a brand new $600 laptop. And I was like, I'm not working for a school that does that. I was like, I'm gonna keep looking. I was like, thank you for your time, but I'm gonna keep looking for a school that supplies the computers. I mean, in the United States, all of our teachers and college professors, all of them are supplied a computer for them to do their grading and work on everything. And that I remember specifically at one of the big schools here, the lady that was interviewing me, she's like, she got kind of nasty. She's like, well, good luck finding a school that that uh that that will supply the laptop computer for you teachers to use or whatever. And I was like, thank you. And I was thinking in my head is, I'll find one. And sure as heck, I kept applying, and most of them did say that that they don't supply it, or else they have it where all the teachers share one computer, which there would be you wouldn't have any time to print out your do your lesson plans, nothing or whatever. And finally, I got to one school, and I was like, "Do you guys supply the laptop?" And they're like, "Yes, we supply our teachers the computers. We supply our teachers all of the materials, pencils, paper, laminating, all of it." So um, all of you guys that are going to be mechanics or going for mechanics degrees or have just graduated, there are tons of options, and especially fleet maintenance, plant maintenance, and like I said, the manufacturing plants. They all want uh, that. So many of them are willing to supply the toolbox and all the tools for you guys. Um, I mean, because yeah, there's just a shortage in the industry. It used to be back in the day that there weren't enough jobs, and I realize the job market is getting tighter, but you have options to go to construction or anything like that. But all these jobs, like what I noticed on the workforce, is just by having that associate's degree in diesel technology, that they realize that, hey, this guy can fix things. This guy can think for himself. Um, Even though you're not working on cars, even though you might not be working on big payloaders, um, when you're in the plant maintenance, they know that you can figure stuff out. So they're gonna want to hire you guys, and the same with just any of the other industries. They want somebody that's handy. They want exactly somebody that's handy is the perfect word for it. They don't want somebody that all that they can do is look at a cell phone and watch TV and play video games. That person is of no use to them, because that's another thing I noticed, like whenever I do job interviews, because me, I go from job to job. That's the life that I chose. And they because I like to have lots of time off to travel. Me and my girlfriend, we like to travel. So um and I'm so glad I'm at that point in my life where I can have that as my career. And they will just like I said, they appreciate somebody that can think for themselves. And but if you're somebody that has hobbies of doing things that are not going to help your career, are not going to help the company, because yeah, I swear that at just about every interview I've gone to, they always ask me, what do I like to do in my free time? What are my hobbies? And like me, I tell them the truth. I was like, my hobby is fixing things. I love putting things together, seeing what's broken. When something's broken, me and my buddies are always bouncing ideas off. I just love to exercise my brain like that. And the employers, they absolutely love that. And like I say, especially with my diesel tech background, they're like, yeah, because I don't know, I applied at like a driving job. That's pretty much all I was gonna do, was gonna be driving, and we deliver stuff and everything. And they asked me, they're like, we're really interested in your diesel tech degree. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to work as a diesel tech if you guys aren't gonna supply the tools and stuff. But they're like, we appreciate it that, hey, if we have a flat tire and we don't have a tire machine, you know how to change it with just tire irons. And I was like, yes, I do know how to use a handyman jack to break a bead on a tire and how to change tires, and I can do it. I'm not a lazy person. So they love that stuff about me. I hope this helps you guys if you guys are thinking about getting a diesel tech degree. I absolutely recommend it. Just realize that I don't think that it's a good industry unless you're doing fleet maintenance where they supply all that stuff, because the bleeding is going to be uncontrollable of your all of your paychecks going into tools all the time. The shop had better supply them. If they don't, walk away, like I said, any other industry would love to have you guys. And like I said, you guys are going to be saving yourself so much money repairing your own vehicles, your own farm equipment, your own construction equipment. Because just remember, eventually, you guys might want to open up your own shop and be making the full $180 yourself uh, because yeah, that was another thing I thought about it too. Like storage units. So you're gonna pay me diddly squat, and I'm gonna supply all my own tools, but you're gonna make $180 an hour off me when I can go rent a storage unit for $80 a month and run my own auto repair shop business out of it. Because I was touring one and they had this big yeah, it's amazing what storage units have come to. I was touring one storage unit and the guy had two payloaders in it and two skid steers in it. Like that's how much room these storage units have nowadays, you guys. So um, if you guys like this money saving content, career advice, just how I save money here, living here in Asia, um, like, share, and subscribe because I'm just always kicking out more of these repair videos to save you guys money so you guys have a better life. All right, take care.